can consume during lunch or on a dog walk or while you pick out a pumpkin. Our goal is to provide meaningful, engaging, and brief conversations for educators. In this episode, we want to talk about teaching assistants and the work they do in supporting student learning. Jared and I had the opportunity to watch Megan Rolfson, a teaching assistant at Canyon Creek Elementary, facilitate a reading group.
All right, it's okay. You guys find your partners and get ready to time read, okay?
It's a pretty magical thing to walk into an elementary school and see small reading groups happening in the hallway and classrooms.
Who can tell me when you're reading a story or a paragraph what the main idea is?
By working in small groups, teaching assistants have the unique opportunity to facilitate students thinking deeper about the material.
I want you guys to find those supporting details and write them down, okay? Your main idea is going to Lagoon. What are details about Lagoon?
Students also get the chance to show their thinking visually.
So circle your supporting details.
After we watched the reading groups, we got to ask Megan about her experience as a TA. Megan, we wanted to talk to you today about the great things you're doing for kids. So our first question is, what are your strengths as a TA? What do you bring to the table that improves that student learning and makes that happen and makes all the work go well?
Well, I think kind of the same as teachers. You've got to love kids. And I think that's my number one strength is I love kids. I'm a parent myself, and I know the importance of children and teaching them and helping them grow. They are our future. So, the love of kids first and knowing the importance of learning and helping them know that they are loved.
Well, I think that's kind of like the secret sauce right there, right? Like you just gave it to us. Having a relationship with the students where you want to help guide them, like that's, and have that love for them. Like I think that's the key.
And TAs have such a unique position with kids because often teachers don't get as much one-on-one interaction with students or even small group interaction with students or as much as they would like, especially at the secondary level. You'll have 280 kids and so it's really hard to get that one-on-one time, but you kind of get to see them in that smaller setting, maybe even one-on-one.
Yes, it's great. I love the small group learning. It's super fun. You've built a relationship and now, I see kids. I live in the community, so I see kids at the grocery store and they come up and they're like, hi. And it's fun. You build a friendship.
Absolutely. And you get to watch their learning grow as you work with them, which is
exactly
really cool.
Yep.
So all the way through. So 114 plus 44. So do the math. Write it right here. Go 114 plus 44, like your math problem.
We know in order to be successful, communication is essential. How do you communicate with the teacher you're working with to ensure that everything runs effectively?
We do have charts and they do have data books. And I've been fortunate enough to do this for a couple of years where, again, the friendship and the love, I've built that relationship with the kids. So I think we take turns working with the specific children. And so we know the students personally, we know them and we look at the data chart, but a lot of it is we know where they are.
Perfect. So airplanes fly in the sky is the main idea. Supporting detail is what?
Jared and I had the opportunity to watch some of these small groups in action, and it's nothing short of magic. Like you walk around and you see students, on an iPad doing this little activity, and then they go over and work with a, TA, or then they walk over and teachers were like jumping with students. I don't know what they were doing, but I know the school is set up for that. We've got these big collaboration spaces, big garage doors, right? There's just a lot of movement and the kids are excited. It's truly magic. And I know that magic comes from all of those things we've been talking about, the planning and preparation beforehand, right? The communication with the teacher, your experience as a TA, knowing the standard and the target, all the data you've collected about each student, all the logistics it takes to organize a grade level switching, all of that work going into something that is so magic. From a TA's perspective, what would you want teachers to know about working with TAs and making sure that you can do your job effectively?
Communication, having a plan. So when we show up, we know, when there's a plan laid out and when we know what we're supposed to do, I feel like we're more efficient in our time. And I think teachers do great. And the teachers I've worked with are great. They have a plan.
Jared said something to me while we were observing. He said, it feels like all of the TAs here are very empowered. Did I say that right?
Yeah, no, and that's was my thought. Yeah. And maybe you can speak to that. Like what is it that is set up here at the school in your relationship with the teachers where you feel empowered to be the best you can be?
They trust us too. They know, we're here to help them and we're a team, and they trust us and they say, okay, you're going to be working on main ideas, supporting details. Here, here's some helps. Run with it. And so they trust us, we trust them, and we work as a team.
Yeah, they know you're an essential part of the team because you have been working with said students. So when you say, here's where they are, here's kind of how we might need to adjust, do you feel like you're listened to and things are made?
Yes.
Adjustments are made. And
they open, they ask us, they're like, okay, what can we do as a teacher? They ask us from the TA standpoint too, when you're out with your groups, what needs to change from us? What can we do differently? What's not working in your group? What is working in your group? So there is that communication.
That true collaboration in the effort of student learning.
What could be more great?
I love it. Love it. I just appreciate all of your thoughts about this. And I think teaching assistants are such an essential piece to student learning. And I'm just so excited to, dig in more and learn and see where this goes.
It's definitely been a fun few years for me, and I have a desire to keep going.
Well, thank you so much, Megan, for your time today and letting us come and see your magic and pick your brain a little bit about what makes it happen.
Well, thank you. Thank you for asking me. It's been my privilege.
We are now here with Colleen Gardner at Central Davis Junior High. Welcome, Colleen.
Thank you.
And she is a special education teacher.
Yes.
And we're here talking about TAs. So we're so grateful that you're here to talk with us today.
Thank you. I love talking about my TAs.
That leads us into our first question, which I bet is kind of a softball one. And it is, how have your TAs been a valuable asset for you as a teacher?
And my first thought with that is, how have they not been a valuable asset? I tell my TAs every day, I cannot do my job without you. I look at them as an equal to myself. They are so good. They take over, they control the kids. They're doing anything and everything they can to support me and to support our students.
I know that sometimes teachers feel a little bit lost in how to utilize that support. So my second question is kind of specific to how they might be more effective in utilizing that support. So tell us how you communicate with your teaching assistants to ensure that your collaboration is effective. Do you set aside specific time? Is there structure for how you keep track of things that other teachers might benefit from?
I know we should have at least a monthly meeting. It's hard because I have 2 aides that come in first thing in the morning. I have another one that comes in at about 9:15 in the morning. I have one that comes in at 11:10. And then I have one that leaves at 12:30. I have one that leaves at 1:10. The other 2 that leave when the kids leave. So that they don't get overtime, I would have to schedule a time that we can meet together when they're all here. Mm-hmm. But we also have students here too. So we do a lot of group texting.
Oh, wow, yeah.
And we have a group text, and I will send things out. For example, we had a behavior one day, and there were a lot of emotions going that day. Maybe there were a few things exchanged between my two of the TAs that was not necessarily pleasant. And I just sat here and composed a little text that said, okay, everybody, just take a deep breath, breathe. And then I went through in that text and said, this is what happened. This is what we can learn from that. Everybody else put your 2 cents in and tell me what you think could have happened differently, what we could do differently in the future. And everybody responds on that text. If I have other things, I will type up a list of things that I want them to know or things that we need to discuss and have them look over it. And then we'll take 5 minutes and just go over it really quick together as a team. And we are a team. And the biggest thing is that I stress with them every day is that we are a team. We work together as a team, and we fail together as a team. And we learn from it, and we brush ourselves off and get up and face it again and say, what did we learn? And that's how we work it. I hate meetings. I hate them. So I don't hold them unless we need to. But I do like I said, I'm always sending out a group text to everybody. And they know that, and my TAs all know, they can come to me with any concern they've got.
I love the example that you used about how you utilize the group text, because not only is that effective communication, it's almost like job embedded coaching. You know, it helps everybody. Like, how did you feel that happened? What could have, let's talk about that. How do we feel? Validating the emotion, deciding how to troubleshoot it in the future. That's like, that's job satisfaction right there, right? People feel validated. People feel like they can do it. They grow in their position. And you're doing that over text, which I think is really, really cool.
We do what we can to make it all work. And my staff will come to me often, maybe just on an individual basis, and say, I was thinking about this behavior that we had, and possibly this would help in the future. What do you think? They know that no matter what, I'm going to value what they have to offer. And many times they are looking at it from a different view than I am. And I love their suggestions, and we will implement things all the time.
So I know that teacher time is so valuable. We all know that. And what tips do you have in working with TAs without really investing a lot of extra time to, plan specific things for them to do? What tips do you have for really making it time efficient?
At the beginning of the school year, at the beginning of a new semester, I sit down and I do up a schedule of what TA is going to be working with a specific student during the day, or where we're junior high, we go to classes outside of my classroom, and they know where they are going, and that schedule stays intact for the full semester. Occasionally we make a change because occasionally there's a dynamics not working between maybe a student and that TA. And so I will flip TAs to make the dynamics work a little bit better. I've had an instance that the dynamics was not working between my TA and that teacher in that classroom. And so I made that switch. But my TAs know, the schedule hangs on our wall. They know where they are going for every class period. They know who they're going to be working with. They know if I haven't specifically assigned them to someone to work with, that they find a student that they can go and sit with and help, that I don't have a peer tutor helping. It just seems to flow really easy, that they know every day that's what our schedule is.
Do you find that really investing time at the beginning of the year or the beginning of the semester in like schedules and kind of training and collaborating, that saves you time during the semester because, you've talked to them about their role and how they, what they can do to help certain students? Do you feel like it's one of those things where if you invest in the beginning, it might take some time, but kind of pays off?
Definitely. And it definitely takes me a lot of time to put that all together, because like I said, I have some that come in at certain times and I have to figure out where does that all work. So my TAs will work amongst themselves and make schedules. We have students that have to have assistants going to the bathroom, and they just have worked out their schedule and they know when they need to be doing that, and they just go and do it. If you were to ask me which one is supposed to be taking students to the bathroom today, I couldn't tell you, because they have worked it amongst themselves and they know. And I don't have to worry about any of that, or even who's going to be with who at lunchtime. That has helped me to be able to have my duty-free lunch and not spend my lunchtime with the students, because I need to have that break also.
Of course.
Yes.
Well, and you've just described something. We did a episode a couple weeks ago about the book, The Multiplier Effect. We did a little book review on it, and you're just describing yourself as a multiplier and empowering people around you that will then make your job easier, because people are smart and people can do things, and you can rely on people to support the work you're doing. That's really powerful.
And that's exactly the point. I don't need to micromanage them. They are adults. They know how to work. They know what needs to be done. And that makes my job easier because I have enough other to do. I don't need to be worrying about all the other little things, but they're big things, but I don't need to be worrying about those. And my aides have that, or my TAs have that vision also.
Well, that is incredible. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and some ideas. And I just love when there's a group of people working for student learning outcomes. It's just so inspiring. So thank you so much for sharing that.
You're welcome.
We like to end podcast episodes with a gift. So do you have a recommendation for our listeners?
I do. I thought long and hard about this. It is an important question. I have celiac disease. And so there are many things I can't eat. Mm-hmm. And going out to eat is a risky thing to do because I don't know what has come in contact with what I'm eating. Cross-contamination is real. Absolutely. And makes me as sick as if I ate gluten. So I'm going to give my 2 cents out there about 2 restaurants, 2 places I have found that are amazing.
Oh, I love it.
There is Chopsticks for Chinese.
Okay.
It is up by Weber State. The owner has celiac as well, and they have a gluten-free menu. And I go and get Chinese from there way more than I probably should, especially because it's really out of my way to go there.
Love it.
But I love Chinese, and I love the fact I can go get it from somewhere and I don't get sick.
You know, it's what you
it's
need.
Good.
Good.
The other is when you are having a sweet tooth and celiac, Sweet Cakes in Bountiful is a strictly gluten-free kitchen. Have amazing cinnamon rolls. Everything I have had from there is so good.
Oh, amazing.
And so I just wanted to share that. Celiac or non-celiac, go to Sweet Cakes. Go and indulge. Enjoy yourself.
Thank you. Well, thank you so much. That's awesome. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
As always, we'd like to thank our producer, Tom, for making us sound so good. Don't forget to check out our video component now on YouTube. Check the show notes for the link. Thanks for joining us. Please like and subscribe and share the podcast with others. See you at school.